If you look at me, it should come as no surprise that I love food. I have tried some unusual foods over the years, and there are some foods I have not yet tasted but really want to try. Some, like truffles, I may never get to sample because they are so rare or expensive. Others, like caribou or New Zealand wood pigeon, I'll probably never get to eat because they are strictly protected. But the food at the top of my must-try list is something suitably exotic: durian. Now, you are excused if you have never heard of durian. It's the Southeast Asian fruit I recently learned is now available frozen from some specialist Asian stores. Durian is famed for its overpowering aroma, which is loved by some but hated by many. And because of this, durian is forbidden from public transport and other facilities in some Asian cities. But once one gets over the smell, the flavour is apparently incredible, but indescribable. In 1856, British naturalist Russell Wallace wrote, "A rich custard, highly flavoured with almonds, gives the best general idea of it. But there are occasional wafts of flavour that call to mind cream cheese, onion sauce, sherry wine, and other incongruous dishes. My imagination simply cannot combine all these flavours. So while durian is the food I most want to try, quite frankly, I have absolutely no idea of exactly what it tastes like. All I know is that durian is a strange fruit, and while I'm quite certain I will enjoy it, I won't be able to describe it until I have experienced it for myself." Along with its parallel versions in Matthew and Mark, today's Gospel reading is for me one of the most incredible passages in the Bible. We are regularly taught throughout the Gospels what Jesus taught about those who shall enter heaven. But here, he is giving us a rare glimpse of what we can expect when we get there. Jesus was being challenged by the Sadducees. They are described as those who say there is no resurrection. But that is not a very adequate description. It is true the Sadducees rejected any notion of an afterlife, possibly because they may have considered the concept of resurrection to be a foreign concept the Jews had picked up during the Babylonian exile. This would fit with the belief of some scholars that the Sadducees only accepted the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. However, that was but one characteristic of the Sadducees. They were the privileged social class in Jewish society, and their number included priests and others in position of power. As is common with privileged social classes in occupied territories, they collaborated with the occupying powers, in this case the Romans. Unlike the Pharisees, who were picky to the extreme about adhering to every point of Jewish law, and were the fundamentalists of their day, the Sadducees were eager to keep the peace so the Romans would be happy and they would retain their privileged status. Someone like Jesus who rocked the boat was therefore a real threat to their position in society. The Sadducees tried to trick Jesus with a question about levirate marriage, which prescribed that when a married man died childless, his brother was required to marry his widow, and their children would carry on the family line. Even though this practice seems to have died out by the time of Jesus, it was still in the law, and to the Sadducees, it was a convincing argument against resurrection. Jesus shot down their logic once and for all by reminding them how in the story of Moses and the burning bush, the Lord revealed himself to be the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The Sadducees accepted the Torah, and Jesus demonstrated how the Torah clearly confirmed resurrection. Now, even though their motivation was not honourable, the Sadducees did raise a valid question. If a widowed person remarries, who exactly will his or her spouse be in heaven? In answering this question, Jesus made two key points. Firstly, there is no marriage in heaven. Secondly, those in heaven do not die, but like angels and are children of God. If we consider that one of the reasons for marriage is the procreation of children, and that there is no death in heaven, we can begin to see why there is no need for marriage there either. Not only there will be no need for the family structures we had on earth, they simply would not work. Our families on earth typically comprise 2 or 3 generations. Now try to imagine the dynamics of having family members dating back to the first humans. The only family structure that can work is us all being part of the family of God. Through coming into God's family, we too will come to share in the glory Jesus achieved and his inheritance, and we too will become the sons and daughters of God. This raises a difficult issue. All of us have lost people who were close to us but have now died. And we look forward to being reunited with them in the resurrection. In particular, I know many of you here today have lost deeply loved spouses and are eagerly awaiting the day when you can be together again. After hearing me speak today, you'll now be wondering exactly what sort of relationship you'll now have, given I've just told you there is no marriage in heaven. Although life in heaven will be a very different state of existence that cannot be compared with life on earth, Scripture tells us very clearly that love never ends. Those who were our loved ones on earth will still be our loved ones in heaven, even though our family dynamics might not quite be the same. I do not know exactly what heaven is going to be like, and while I'm in no immediate hurry to get there, I firmly believe our earthly lives are a mere shadow of the glorious future existence that awaits us. But like the fabled durian, I won't be able to describe until I've experienced it myself. Amen.